money and chasing your dreams. Easy beat, turn the place, everything. Marriage and relationships are not about rings. Trying to raise a family is so insane. He tries to keep politics off the brain, but sending in the questions he might just scream. Business and entrepreneurship is his thing. There is society,
then there is reality.
That's my dad. That's my dad.
Welcome. I am BBT, and you can ask me anything. How y'all doing? It feels good to be back. It feels good to be back.
yes!
It feels so good to be back. Actually, it felt great to take a few days off YouTube. I traveled to the DMV, Washington, D.C., Maryland area. Saw family for Thanksgiving. It's pretty dope. Saw my wife's family. Saw my family. We had fun. We laughed. We ate good. That's what the holiday's about. It's so crazy. I went through a stage where when you discover the truth about these holidays, you're like, man, I'm not celebrating that no more. But I think we have to understand, we got to appreciate and take advantage of those moments where we get a chance to spend with family, especially if they're in another location. So it was great. It was great. It was great to spend time with family. But I feel good, and I'm glad that I'm back. And yes, I have a lot to talk about. Really quick before I jump into the tweets of the day, I'm looking to figure out, or I'm trying to figure out where to travel for Christmas. And if you got any suggestions, please let me know. I kind of walk you through my methodology when I did the recap of the Maldives trip. I go by my spreadsheet. I see where the best flight deals are, and then I try to maneuver. It looks like, well, I don't even want to ruin it yet. I would love to know if you do have any ideas for Christmas. Let me know. We just did the cold in DC, so I'm not tripping off going to the cold. We did London a few years ago, London and Paris. It was freezing. And I don't know if I want to do the cold. Obviously, I live in Miami, so I get good weather all the time. So it might be okay switching it up, but I'm not necessarily looking forward to going to cold weather. If the numbers come out right and it ends up being a cold weather place, I'm okay with that too. But yeah, so I'll be deciding on that in the next couple of days as far as where we're going to go. The damn bird again. But anyway, let's jump right into the tweets of the day. First tweet, CJ Pearson says, Balenciaga severed ties with Kanye West due to a tweet. Yet they expect us just to accept their apology after they get caught up sexualizing children. They're not apologizing because they're sorry. They apologize because they got caught. So I don't know if I've been off for a while, so I don't know if you saw this story where basically Balenciaga were doing photo shoots with little kids, and they were in like bondage outfits and some other craziness. And I'm just like, wow, man, it's like it's almost like a game. They test stuff out, they get the reaction, and then they pull it back. But I think it's just a ploy for to kind of see the response and the reaction. But the plan is already in motion that that's what we're going to be doing. But I got an issue with all of these things where it's sexualizing children, and it seems like that's the direction we're going in this country, and I'm not cool with it. And I think that more people have to speak out, speak up, because these kids. I mean, I'm not even going to show the image of that. You could look it up for yourself, but it was insane. And the fact that a big brand like this can even go that far for it to get out, it just says a lot. And so definitely, I never wore Balenciaga. I'm not into designer stuff anymore. But yeah, if you still support that, you're the problem. Next tweet. This was a couple days ago. Kyrie Irving dropped 37 points in some Hanes socks and Skechers. I think they spelled Skechers wrong. I think it's Sketchers. So yeah, no, I'm to a point. I'm done with Nike. I'm done with Adidas. I'm going to be Googling soon in terms of maybe some black-owned shoe brands. I want to switch it up. I don't want to wear, like I said, Nikes or Adidas anymore. So if you got any suggestions on that, please let me know. Next week. Jerry Jones admits to being in racist 1957 photo, trying to stop black students from entering North Little Rock High School. So I saw this picture, I saw this story. So it's big news, right? At the end of the day, I think that we have to understand, how did most of these owners make their money? I think that we have to start with that. Like, I'm not shocked when I see this. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, most of these people, the owners came from privileged situations. They had a lot of money and they grew up in the times where there was a lot of segregation, a lot of racism that was out in the open. So it doesn't shock me that Jerry Jones or any other owner would be involved in something like this. Am I going to go as far to say Jerry Jones is racist? I don't know. And really, I don't care. I mean, he's kind of shown his true hand, especially when he had the issue of, you kneel, you will be cut from the team. Like, he's been very outspoken how he feels that he's the boss and you're his servants, no matter what. So this doesn't surprise me. It doesn't shock me. I'm not going to go as far as say the man is racist. And once again, I think that I think Jaylen Brown said this, we need to put all of these owners under spotlight. The players are under spotlight, put the owners under spotlight. Let's see how they made their money. And I think when you start to do that, you'll start to see a lot more pictures like this surface. Next tweet. I am Miles Cheong says the establishment media is angry at Elon Musk because Twitter is no longer under control of the establishment and its activist allies. He implemented meritocratic policies and fired their friends who worked at Twitter. The public can now openly question the narrative. And then Elon Musk responds, "Yeah, I'm totally behind Twitter. I'm totally behind Elon Musk. Once again, I follow no man. I'm not saying that Elon is a god. I'm not saying that he could do no wrong. But from what I'm seeing, he's going against the establishment, and that gets a hand clap for me." Yes. Once again, the last election, I wasn't really into it like that, but I understood how I wasn't into enough to really form an opinion on what was going on. Now, looking back, I can see how things like Twitter, how the press had a big job in determining the outcome of who was president the last time around, which is President Biden. Not saying that Trump would have won, not saying Biden would have won, but I see how platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and other social media platforms contributed to that. And now you got Elon Musk that's come up, and now he's trying to make this platform for individuals being able to get their voice out, for free speech. He's bringing back all these people. How can you have a problem with that? So next week, Nancy Pelosi stock tracker. Breaking: 8 Congress members tried to stop the SEC from acquiring the FTX by questioning the SEC's authority to acquire about crypto. 5 of those 8 members also received campaign donations from FTX, ranging from $2,900 to $11,600. Yeah, the FTX story keeps getting crazier and crazier. I've seen a bunch of tweets. I don't want to share them all. You can look it up yourself. I saw the one where they basically bought a bank for like $12 million, and the bank looks like a garage. And I think the valuation of the bank, I think they were doing deposit like 4 million, and the valuation from what they paid was like 115 million. So it's like this story gets crazier and crazier. And once again, the mainstream media is not covering it as much as they're covering Elon Musk running Twitter to the ground. Next tweet. 19keys.e says 2023 is the year of AI. Your job and skill is at risk of being replaced. I agree. I think that it's been in the works for a while. I've been saying it for a long time. I've been saying it on my social media platforms. I say it to anyone that will listen, in terms of, we're at the bar talking, whether it's a family member or friend. I say eventually your job is going to be extinct. The robots are coming, AI is coming. So you better have some skills. You better know how to make your own money. I tell people, if you got jobs, start your side business. Start putting something in play that you can do on the side and eventually grow it to be bigger than what you're making at your job. So next week, Chris Spoke says, if big tech is overstaffed by 2 to 10x, can you imagine government? Yeah. So I'm from DC, so obviously I know all about government. And I know, no offense, anyone that's listening that's a government employee, that may be my friend or family, but you guys don't do no work. I used to work for government. You guys don't do no work. And I thought that when, and I believe whenever President Obama went into office and we were going through what we were going through, I thought that one of the big things he was going to do was reduce the size of government. And instead, I believe it got bigger. Same thing with COVID. I thought government was going to reduce, but it seems like it's gotten bigger. Don't quote me on that because I don't know if that to be factual statements. But yeah, I mean, if you really look at what Elon is doing with Twitter, if we ever get in any type of recession or something big that's coming up, I think that that's going to be one of the first things to get cut. I think that whoever is the next president, it depends on who it is, but I think that government is going to get reduced because if you look at Twitter, you don't need all of these people to run a company. Next tweet. Just watched Till movie, and I am incensed all over again. The need of the Mississippi AG. No Merrick Garland, the U.S. AG, will charge Carolyn Bryant, the white woman who admitted she lied on Emmett Till, causing his murder and lied on the witness stand to protect his murderers. So yeah, the Till movie is out, and I got to be honest with you, I don't want to see it. I do want to see it, but I don't want to see it. I know the story. I know it very well, and I know that it's only going to make me angry. And I actually had some family members that went and saw, and they kind of pretty much spoiled the movie. And yeah, I know I would be very upset, but come to find out this woman is 90 years old, or around 90 years old. She lied. She admitted to lying, and she's still living. Um, she's never been charged, never been arrested. And if you ever seen the photos of Emmett Till, it's like, whoa. So definitely check the movie out. Tell me about it. I mean, me personally, I don't want to see it. I already consume enough that makes me angry. So next week, 19 Keys.eth again said, I would rather you wear a White Lives Matter shirt than a Balenciaga shirt because children lives matter the most. Agreed. Next week. This is exactly what Thanksgiving looked like for our ancestors. Black Friday just around the corner. Enjoy. Yeah, I said that at the top of the show. I understand what Thanksgiving is. I don't necessarily celebrate the holiday. I celebrate the opportunity to spend time with my family. Unfortunately, when I was on a rampage telling people, oh man, Thanksgiving is this holiday is this, they don't want to hear it. I mean, it just goes with the narrative. We do what they tell us to do. And at the end of the day, I'm only one person. I still have a family. I still have to um, I have to accommodate. I have to be accommodating. So even though I feel strongly about certain things, I've learned over the years that, family is important. Those relationships are important. So I can be the person that I don't necessarily celebrate it, but for the purposes of people they're going to celebrate anyway, I still celebrate. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. Next tweet. 19 Keys that eat one more time. Imagine that vaccinated people make up the majority of COVID deaths. I don't know if this to be true, but I've been seeing more and more stories about this coming out. So yeah, if you got the jab, if you got it, more power to you. But if this is true, ugh. Next week, when Sam Bankman-Fried's crypto empire went down in flames, so did his plans to save the world. Yes, he was planning to save the world. That's why he bought a $16 million property for his parents. He bought 112 real estate for executives. He bought a bank for 11.5 million that looked like a shack. Yeah, and then Elon Musk says WSJ giving foot massages to a criminal. So it's so interesting also with Twitter. Y'all got to really jump on Twitter and pay attention. A lot of these news sources, a lot of them are fakes. And the crazy thing is, Elon Musk is allowing them on Twitter. It's actually pretty dope to watch. Like they're putting out these fake narratives, these false stories, and he'll just respond to it. And it's like, okay, why wouldn't he just take them off? But that goes to the point. I think he's trying to be fair to the left, to the right, to everyone. As long as it's not hate speech, then I think that he's okay with it. So it's very interesting to watch. You should definitely jump on Twitter, check it out, and be the judge for yourself. Next week. Speaking of hate speech, Elon Musk says hate speech impressions down by 1/3 from pre-spike levels. Congrats to the Twitter team. So yeah, hate speech is, if it's really If those numbers are accurate, which I don't see why they wouldn't be, month over month, that's a good thing. So next tweet. Elon Musk one more time. Awesome new Twitter merch. Stay at work. Yes, I gotta agree with that. Stay at work. Yeah, I mean, for someone that runs a business, runs a company, I mean, COVID created this world where you can work from home, and I agree with that. Majority of my staff works from home. I would say 80%. I would say 90% works from home. With that being said, we started to move more of our team in the office on not necessarily a regular day-to-day basis, but every few days, and production has gone up through the roof because one of my businesses, the people need to see the people, and that's how we build morale. That's how we build retention. I mean, that's how we improve our retention efforts. So it's very important to be in the office, be around your team, to see people, to get to feel someone's body language, especially when you're in the people service oriented business. So next week, if you think that the COVID-19 shutdown was bad, just wait for what's coming next. Well, anyway, those are the tweets for the day. Tweet. So yeah, I wanted to play this. This for fair use, for educational purposes only. So I am a finance business guy. I used to read like crazy, especially when I was investing in real estate, investing in stocks, starting businesses, trying to get rich by 30 and doing all these things. I don't read it as much now because I understand a lot of the bullshit that comes with it. But every blue moon, I like to take a peek in and see what's going on. And it's so interesting. I was talking to a guy at the bar last night, actually, and I was telling them, we're about to see something bad. And it's just a feeling of mine. It's just from what I'm seeing. I'm going all the way back to 2020 during COVID and seeing how the stock market was taking off, real estate was taking off, crypto was taking off, and nobody's working. Everybody's out of work. Shit is fucked up. But certain people making money. And then I'm like, oh, and then when I started to see where the money was going with COVID, I was like, okay, follow the money, follow the money. The divide was getting wider and wider and wider in terms of the haves and the have-nots. And once again, I am a person that has been reading about these concepts for years. The middle class is a myth. Eventually, the middle class is going to get wiped out. So I'm already of this belief that this is going to happen. When you think of AI, robots, I've talked about that earlier. So, but now, right now, it's just crazy. Inflation, talking about the recession. I'm looking at hotels trying to figure out where I'm going to go for Christmas, and I'm seeing rooms for $5,000-$6,000 a night. And I'm saying, who can afford this stuff? And my belief is that a lot of people made a lot of money during COVID and after. Anyway, I'm not an expert in speaking about it. I know what my beliefs are, I know what I feel is going to happen, but I wanted to share this with you all because I think obviously they can tell it better than me. And so once again, this is for fair use, educational purposes only. Let me share my screen.
If you look at every U.S. recession, well, since World War II, you'll see two things always happen. The GDP, the measure of economic output, goes down, and unemployment goes up.
For most Americans, when you feel a recession, it's when you're still worrying about your job.
Now let's look at today. The GDP is going down. Even the head of the Federal Reserve says a recession is
certainly a possibility.
But the unemployment rate is actually falling. More people are getting jobs, not losing them.
We don't know if it's a recession. What we can say is that if it is one, it's not like anything we've ever seen before.
Here's why. The reason the GDP and unemployment are always together is because they feed on each other. When businesses lay off workers, people spend less money, which means businesses make fewer profits and lay off workers. A recession can begin at any of these points, and in 2022, people could cut back on spending. Just look at consumer sentiment, a measure that weighs how people are feeling about the economy and whether they plan to spend money soon. Generally, when people respond that they feel more pessimistic, a recession follows. And right now, they're feeling about as good as during the Great Recession in 2008, thanks to inflation. Not a great sign for the GDP.
If people are frustrated by high inflation, if they think inflation is going to stick around for a while, they might pull back. convince companies to cut back, and that leads to worse outcomes for the economy.
But businesses are in a different place than past recessions. This chart shows the average corporate profit margin. In the past, profits were in the single digits, leading into several recessions, including 2001.
That was a business-driven recession where companies overinvested. They decided they had to cut back in order to rebuild their profit margins, and that led us right into a recession.
The bubble has now burst. I would not argue.
Really quick, I graduated from grad school in 2001, so I thought I was coming out, I was gonna make all this money, and I couldn't find a job, and I ended up taking a job it made half of what I thought I was gonna make. So I love hearing about 2001. There's certain years that really, really make me cringe: 2001, 2008, 2020. Anyway, let me keep going.
Yet that we've seen the bottom in NASDAQ or in our tech index.
So are we back in one of those cycles? In some ways, it doesn't look like that because profit margins are so high right now.
Not only are corporate profits in double digits, but the amount of cash they have is close to $4 trillion. Analysts say that's a significant downturn buffer.
They might just decide they can weather this storm and not lay off workers and not cut back on investment and kind of get us to the other end of this adjustment without a big retrenchment that feeds on itself.
And companies have an incentive to not lose any workers because many are having problems finding workers in the first place. It's a really unique time in the job market. The labor force participation rate is as low as it's been in 40 years. And it isn't all due to the pandemic. The rate has been declining for a long time. You can see it in the unfilled job rates too. As more people leave the labor force, the more job positions become available. Add in a pandemic, and that's a lot of jobs.
11 million jobs are out there that they just can't find people to fill. Now, to put that in perspective, if you look back at, say, 2019, when the economy was considered to be exceptionally strong, unfilled job openings were 7 million. So, like, here we are talking about a downturn in the economy, and we have 4 million more jobs open than we had even at the height of the last expansion. So you have to ask yourself a question: why is that? Why is that happening? One answer is that there's generational change happening in the economy. We have millions of baby boomers who are retiring. So there's just not as many workers out there. It's also been the case that there's just been really strong demand for goods and services, in part because of all the stimulus that was pumped into the economy during the pandemic. And so that combination of labor shortages and strong demand created this really robust job market.
And it's this robust job market that can make a 2022 recession, if one develops, so different. After past recessions, there was what was called jobless recoveries, where GDP began to grow back, but companies continued to lay off workers.
Right now, we're seeing a mirror image of that, where the economic output is contracting and companies are still hiring. It's what I'm calling a jobful downturn.
But how long could an economic downturn really be job-full?
This is unsustainable, right? To have economic output contracting at a time when companies are hiring. So one of two things has to happen. Either the economy adjusts and companies start expanding again, or the economy keeps contracting, economic output keeps contracting, and companies say, whoa, we're over our skis and we've got to cut jobs. One of those two things is going to happen. We just don't know which of the two.
No recession has ever looked exactly like another. And if there's a recession in 2022, it won't look like anything we've seen before either.
So there you have it. So, yeah, what do you think? Is a recession coming? Is it going to be pretty? Is it going to be ugly? I don't know. Once again, I think part of the reason I don't follow anymore is because a lot of this don't make any sense. I mean, you think about the amount of people that got laid off with Twitter and Facebook, and I know these people are upper income folks, but then they say we got 11 million jobs that's out there. Then you know that AI is coming and robots are coming. So it's like, what's right? What do you believe? What is accurate? I just know that I guess you got to always take the pulse in your respective community. Are people working? And yeah, I guess people are working. Are people making enough money to survive or to thrive? I don't see that. I don't see a lot of people making money, and putting themselves in situations where they can travel, they could buy houses. I mean, because housing market has gone up so much. So it's just when it doesn't make sense, that means something bad is going to happen. I've experienced that when I used to work at Fannie Mae. I've experienced that coming out of grad school. I experienced that with the mortgage stuff. I experienced that with the stocks. When it don't feel right and it don't make sense, something bad is about to happen. And so you saw that last tweet in terms of COVID. We thought COVID-19 was bad. What's coming next? I do see some type of financial collapse. And I mean, everything is just aligning with the crypto, how that tanked. Now there's regulation coming there with, like I said, the mortgage price is going up so much. Eventually that has to bust. I don't follow stocks too much anymore, but I've heard there's been some challenges there, and that with crypto. So yeah, I think that the recession is coming. I think that you need to get prepared. I think that, as I say all the time, focus on ownership, own your side thing, build it up, and eventually get it to a point where it's making more than your job. Because if Twitter and Elon Musk showed us one thing, you don't need 7,000 employees, you need 700 strong ones. And if more companies start to take that concept and embrace it, then we got a problem. You got a problem. So I think that's it for me. Glad to be back. And I hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy your Saturday, enjoy your weekend. Yeah. And I think Monday is back to work, back to school for the kids. So take care. Peace.